We are, with all reverence, we are inviting His Holiness for a Dharma teaching. First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, to the Venerable Mang Liaoming, to Master Sakya Tsengkung, to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and Master Thupten Tarji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, the dragon riding white Jambala. Sumu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our guests of honors today. From the Taiwan government, the Chief Secretary Zheng, the former Chief of Staff of the Army Jiabing School, the Major General Wang, representative to the councilperson of the Nantou County, and from the Taiwan KMT Party, the Vice Chair of Kaohsiung Branch, Ms. Xu, from Zhongzhen University Department of Electrical Engineering, Professor Wang, and from the Qingshan or the Green Mountain Kindergarten, the Principal Wang and all the kindergarten students, and the President of the Lotus Light Charitable Organization, Mr. Wu, Mr. and Mrs. Zhu, and a well-known host to the TV shows, Mr. Tai Ziyuan, and the producer of the Fengshen Wushuang, Mr. Li, and producer for the Illuminating Your Heart of CTI TV, Miss Rebecca Su, and the director and the music producer from Malaysia, Mr. Huang Dewei, and the producer for TV programs, the Platform Sutra and Development Stages of Tantrayana, Master Lian Yue, and the host, Dharma Sister Peijun, Mr. Qizong and Dharma Sister Zhenru. Good afternoon, how do you do? At the Taiwan Lei Tsang Temple and all the Lei Tsang temples all over the world have many ceremonies and Dharma teachings. So on the first of the lunar or Chinese New Year, which is on the day of the Chinese New Year, there would be the Bodhisattva Maitreya ceremony. That would be on February 10th, Sunday. And coincidentally, The birthday of Bodhisattva Maitreya is on the first day of the first lunar month. So, Selamat ulang tahun. That's happy birthday in Indonesian. So, it's Indonesian and Malay. On the third day of the first lunar month, we would have Red Jambala Ganapati ceremony. On the seventh day, there would be Manjusri Bodhisattva. It's one with the greatest wisdom. And on the lunar 14th day, which is February 23rd, that would be the Wealth Goddess ceremony, grand ceremony at the Taiwan Lei Tsang temple. And then the Emperor Lei Tsang temple, that would be on February 17th, which is the 8th day of the lunar month. At that time, we would have the ceremony for welcoming the wealth deity home. And then the Xianghua Lei Tsang temple, that would be on February 24th. And that would be Ragaraja ceremony. We welcome your participations or registrations. So we have lots of ceremonies. They are not asking me to be the presider. These few days, I often thought of that I'm close to 70 now. For a public officer, it's time for retirement. Go home and play with the grandkids and traveling around and live leisurely and at ease, and stop my pen and brush, and so I don't write or paint anymore, and no more Dharma teaching or organizing grand ceremonies. So if there are disciples looking for me, then I probably spend half an hour chatting. So thinking about that, I feel very pleased, very happy, very relaxed. So I'm just looking at the mountains and the waters and the skies and the clouds and reading books and live leisurely and move to a place where there are no disciples at all. And from then on, I would live at ease and with peace to live the rest of my life. But let me share a joke first. One morning, there was a wife, a madam, that looking at the mirror, found out that she really looked quite horrible, so she couldn't stand it and cried. And the husband sitting next to her tried to comfort her. Don't be like that. So you feel so sad just looking at yourself once in the mirror, but how about me? I look at you every day. So what I mean by telling this joke is every day, every Saturday, I feel that every day looking at so many disciples upstairs, downstairs, in the dining room, everywhere. There are disciples everywhere, every Saturday. So if I want to go to the Sun and Moon Lake, how could I have time? When would that be? How come I have more and more disciples around? There are lots of people taking refuge. That's why I feel heavier and heavier on my shoulders. That at night in sleeps, I have tears in my eyes. When would I be free? I pass my days with hardships. And then look at this New Year time. My schedule is really full. At least give me some time to nap. I don't even have time to relax in the afternoon. And then for every dinner, ever since I came back here from Seattle, how long has that been? Almost 3 months. At every evening, we have appointments for dinner. Sometimes even for lunch too, because there weren't enough time. So lunch and dinner, we have meetings. And I sat there looking at the food. Doesn't matter, even how good they are, I cannot take them all. So dinner meetings and dinner invitations of the disciples. So I realized what happened. Wouldn't that be good if we don't have that many disciples? But how come there are more and more disciples at all times, all the time? So I really feel a bit bad in my heart because I'm almost 70. And I feel like I'm being used up. It's like I'm being recycled. When I would be used up, then I would be totally free. So, Master Changzi, could you find a way? We are at the same age. We are only a few days apart. So, Changzi, please help. Can you please take my place in conducting the ceremonies? Then at least I would have some good sleep. Don't let me be like this. But what can I do? This is all predestined. Amitabha. So this deity, the main deity of the Homa today, is the dragon riding white Jambala. And once before, I taught it very clearly with detailed exposition. That was at the So that was at the Marymore Park in the Seattle area. In the park, and we set up a tent and taught the Dharma practice of the White Jambala. So I have transmitted this Dharma practice. And we have the practice procedure, sadhana, and the altar. And the most important for White Jambala is the altar. And he is called Jambala, he's white. The yellow Jambala is also called Jambala. So someone said that the white Jambala is the son of the yellow Jambala. But I don't know. So they're both names by Jambala. So one is father, one is son. Or the grandfather. The yellow Jambala is the grandfather and the white Jambala is the grandson. They are both heavenly kings. So do you know what palace yellow Jambala live in? The white Jambala is the crystal palace and the yellow Jambala is the Vaisravana, the heavenly king of the north. So he lives in the northern part of Mount Sumeru. So which palace? You know, because there are golden palace, silver palace, crystal palace, all made of precious items, precious jewels. Even the masters don't know? Then I don't know too. Actually, it's the crystal palace. So, because both live in the crystal palace, so the white Jambala must be the son of the yellow Jambala. What's special about him is his hobby, his favorite. So we always say that in making offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you make offering of what you like. So that would be right. For Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have no discrimination. So whatever you like, you offer to them. But for the gods, like the white Jambala, is in the middle of the Mount Sumeru. It's one of the four heavenly kings. And he's of the north part and the crystal palace. So because he's from the crystal palace, so he must be together with the yellow Jambala. So when you know it's yellow Jambala and the crystal palace, so what you should offer to him is crystal. That's what he likes. And he also like, you know what? He likes bathing. There are two kinds of bathing. One is shower. One is taking a bath. The Japanese like to bathe in the hot spring, and also the Taiwanese too nowadays. So the white Jambala loves to bathe in the bathtub. So when making offering to the white Jambala, we need to use 7 bowls of bath water, because at those times there is no hot spring water. So it's water and you add some soap or soap powder into it. So of the 8 offerings, one of them is tea and the other one is bath water. So there are 2 kinds of water. So flowers, incense, lamb, tea and fruit. And for the incense, there's incense and there's an ointment. And then with the bath water, altogether 8 offerings. So the bath water is for the gods to bathe, and the white Jamala loves to bathe. So you need to make an offering of 7 bowls of bath water on his altar. And then you add crystal, 7 pieces of crystals, and around him, and then you also offer other things. This is most important. After you do the practice of white Jambala, with 2 hands you form this mudra, sprinkling water. You touch the bath water and then lick it, eat it yourself, which means the fortune or the wealth is kept inside yourself. And then you sprinkle the water and you invite the white Jambala to bathe in this water. And you don't throw out this bath water, these 7 bowls of bath water. You sprinkle these waters all over your house. As soon as you sprinkle the water, after you do the practice, when you sprinkle the bath water, you first invite the white Jambala to bathe, and then when you sprinkle the water becomes your wealth. Like the NT dollars, the newest one is $2,000 bill, and for US dollar, the $100 bill, and stacks of them falling from the sky and fill your house. So this is the Dharma practice of white Jambala, so that you are filled with wealth and filled with happiness. So when you sprinkle the water, you visualize bars of gold. And all these gold bars fall from the sky and fill your whole house. Then you become the master of this house of gold. And US dollars is fine, NT dollars, or whatever currencies, the biggest. And then when you snap the water, don't just visualize a piece of bill, but a stack of them. But be careful that you're not being hit by them. So visualize that they fall a bit further from you. So the whole Lei Tsang temple, you sprinkle the water all over and visualize. Because he lives in the crystal palace, you need to make offering of crystals, then he would be pleased. And because he likes to bathe, you make offering of the bathing water. And especially the water that he has bathed in, that would be transformed into fortune, into wealth, so that your wealth is perfect and your happiness is complete. Because no money is no honey. As if you have money, you will get what you want. Right? Beautiful wives, beautiful darlings. So that's what's special about the Dharma practice of white Jambala. So here we also want to pray so that Taiwan can receive blessings from white Jambala, so that the economy of Taiwan would see light at the end of the tunnels, and the economy would become better, and that the people of Taiwan can live with prosperity and happiness. And just now you also need to pray for your own country, because we also have many participants from many different countries. So you need to pray for your country, like the countries of the Salamat, which is Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan. Is Japanese master here? Mainland China. Talking about this, we have some dispute over Diao Yi Tai among China, Japan, and Taiwan. But we have a major general of the army here. In the past, I was the survey engineer, lieutenant, and I graduated from the Lianqing Survey Engineering College, and I was dispatched to the survey team of 1802, and then the task that I received is to survey Diao Yi Tai, the island Diao Yi Tai. Diao Yi Tai literally means the fishing board. So now mainland China, Japan, and Taiwan are all fighting for this island. So, but who was the first who surveyed the Diao Yi Tai island, which is of the 5802 survey team, and the survey engineer? How many years ago was that? I graduated when I was 24, and then 3 years I was in Lujing 580 Dongwu 02. So when I was around 27, 28, and the vice leader Wei at the end of the boat, he was reciting the Amitabha Sutra so that they can sail smoothly. And then the Christians would pray to gods, and the Catholics would pray to Maria, and the Muslims would pray to Allah, and those who believe to Mazu pray to Mazu. And the vice leader Wei was reciting Amitabha Sutra because the ocean waves was very huge, and around the island is huge. We passed by Pengjai. Now still belongs to Taiwan, the Republic of China. And there was the lighthouse. And we passed the Pengjai, went to Diao Yi Tai. So we had to go to each of these islands to do survey. And the biggest island is called Diao Yi Tai. And the small one's called Hua Ping Yi. You know how big the island is? Only as big as this Lei Tsang temple. And the outdoor field there and the inside hall is only that big. It's like a flower vase. It's round and small at the bottom and larger at the top. And at the top is flat, like a stadium. Jenga, it's the island groups there. It's one of the small islands near Diao Yi Tai. So we had to go to each of the islands to do survey, to measure them. Well, it's hard for us to climb up because when the boat got, it's like at the middle. So we had to wait for the high tide. And when the water reached about the top of the island, we climb up and we put on the foot and starting to measure to the different points. And we measure planetary, and then we add it to the map that Diao Yitai belongs to Taiwan. So who owns Diao Yitai? Diao Yitai belongs to Sheng-yen Lu. At that time, the Vice Leader Wei, nobody was on the Diao Yitai Island. We could do the survey. Nobody fought for it then. And then maybe they had the news that someone wanted to claim this island, so we went there immediately, and in the middle of the night waiting for the high tide, and went up the island, and then measure and did the survey of this whole island, and then placed it on the map of Taiwan. So 5802 survey team was the one who really had reached the Diao Yitai Island. And recently I went back to the survey team 5802 near the Nanmen Qiao, the bridge of the South Gate. Next to the hospital, there was a hospital called Puti Hospital, and next to it should be this survey team. But now it's gone. It's been sold because the real estate price has gone up. So I don't know where it went. Because at that time the army has two survey teams. One is the 5802, and the other one was in Taipei. The city planning of Taipei was also surveyed or done by Grandmaster Lu. The part that I did was in Xinlong Road, Muzha, in that area. That's the area where I was responsible for. The first highway in Taiwan was also surveyed by the 5802 survey team. And Grandmaster was in charge of the part of the Sihu to Taichung. So the first highway was also surveyed by Grandmaster Lu. And also for Taiwan Patriots missile. So I measured and surveyed it, and then they dig the missile path from the southern Taiwan to the northern around Yilan, the Nanfu mountain. Those were all surveyed by Grandmaster. So I was in the military for many years, and my classmate, Mr. Zhu Jingsui, at the end we were colleagues, and he graduated first in class from the the ground survey and ecology. 自主场. And then I worked 3 years, and then in the 自主场 I worked for 7 years, and then I retired as a lieutenant major. And because I entered the Buddhist path, and now I became a monk, when would I be able to retire? If I retire, I would be completely happy. Before retirement, I don't retire because I have great compassion upon all sentient beings. So, how did I go into attention talking about survey engineering? Because we have the Major General Wang here, because I was also in the army before, from Lianqing is the from Lianqing to army, and then back to Lianqing. There are 5 different colleges, different schools, trainings. So I was trained in these 5 schools and I live like a military man. So 8 weeks prior and 8 weeks after, so it's about 4 months training. And of course I have some gains. What I gain is a skin problem. I still have athlete's feet. And I also got a jock itch. So you buy the skin ointment. It's called anpilu. And there's a small brush, and you dip it in the ointment, and then you rub it against that place, and it's really painful. And then I blow on it. So, what is this? There was a foreign affair officer that called the LP. How come that happened? Because we all bathed together, and the clothes, the underwears, they all mixed together. And you tie them on a rope, and then you wash them in the same place. And then all the viruses and the germs all spread. So when you wear them, you would catch the problem. And that was really bad, because the skin would flake and fall off. And I need to put the ointment for a lot of times before it was cured. But the athlete's feet, it still couldn't be cured. So there's this song that said something like, I came from Hong Kong with the Hong Kong's feet, because the athlete's feet is called the Hong Kong's feet in Chinese. So I have lived such a life. So White Jambalaya, you like to bathe, so I pray to you Please cure all of our skin problems. That's the past period of my life. So talking about the past, you would think of those things of the past. It's good to have such nostalgia. So although military men have retired, they still feel nostalgic of the times in the military. That in the morning we have to sing military songs. So we sing these military songs. So when we have some military men in the audience, I will talk a little bit about our experience in the military. That's very good. Military training is the same as the training for the monks and nuns. Now let's talk a little bit on Hevajra, on chapter 37, the true seeing or true vision. At that time, this article, I criticize others. This is not good. But the articles I write these days don't criticize anymore, because we are sentient beings, and sentient beings are also us. So as a Buddhist practitioner, when you reach the wisdom of equality, you have this view of equality, that self and others are the same. Or we could say that they may be parents of our past lives. There are three kinds of bodhicitta. First, generating bodhicitta. First is equality between self and others. Two, that you replace self with others, or others with self. You often need to think of others. So if you are being scolded, how would you feel? That's why you don't scold others. So self and others are equal. We think that we all have Buddha nature. We are all equal. We are all one family. That we are brothers of, and 500 years ago we are one family. So we are one family. So why do we do those? So we should replace each other. And then, even better is that it's you took yourself lighter than the others. So you put more importance on others. The others are great, and ourselves are less. So these 3 points are the true meaning of generating bodhicitta. So when a Buddhist practitioner don't know how to generate bodhicitta, how to have the joy, loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity, and then you add this bodhicitta. So when you don't understand bodhicitta, naturally you would reprimand others. The 7 bodhicitta. So which is loving kindness, compassion, joy, equanimity, equality between self and others, replacing self with others, and others are more important than self. These 7 points, then you will not scold, reprimand, criticize others anymore. And you definitely will not slander others. Then, otherwise, you're not Buddhist practitioners, but you're learning to be like the devils, right? So this article criticized others. Let me read this. There was a scholar of the consciousness-only school who wrote several books and self-acknowledged that he has seen or met with the eighth consciousness of the Tathagata store. Having this true vision, the scholar criticized all the Zen masters, the patriarchs of the three schools, which is Yinxun, Daosi, tantric lineage gurus like Guru Padmasambhava, Tsongkhapa, Sakya Pandita, Karmapa, the lineage gurus of Tantrayana, Tiropa, Naropa, and the great masters of the current times, living Buddhas, His Eminence, His Holiness, etc., Zen masters, etc. So this scholar, because his vision of the eighth consciousness of the Tathagata store thought that he is first and foremost in this world, and directly and broadly criticized. But in my eyes, this is truly a laughing matter. So at that time, I still laughed at him. So what is the first and foremost in the world? That he is the highest. There's no one else higher or better than he is. So in the cloth puppet show would know. Liu Yuan. He's a great master, a great monk. So, anyone beat you? So anyone ever beats you? Anyone ever win over you? And he said, no one, never. That no one can beat me. So he is first on earth. But in my eyes, that's a laughing matter. It's no big deal. It's completely worthless, making a big deal out of nothing. What the heck? Actually, his superficial and slight vision of the eighth consciousness of the Tathagata store could already create such a commotion in a group of shallow vision and narrow-minded people. So it really is a pity. So it's just the verse that we say at the funeral. But my enlightenment and the true understanding of the mind and seeing the Buddha nature occurred more than 10 years ago, though the scholar is nothing more than a class leader of a kindergarten. Kindergarten. So it's the lowest class of kindergarten, the class leader. So I have no need to explain more. And I don't want to say who that person is. I don't want to say the name. So in this short article, I wanted to describe the true vision or true seeing. Actually, there are three about it. One is the vision of the present nature, and then vision of the empty nature. and then vision of the non-reality nor non-illusory. Actually, vision of the eighth consciousness of the Tathagata store is also a topsy-turvy version created by phenomena of ignorance. And this is a Dharma with a purpose. So you use a method to see. There's a method when you practice until you're completely pure, the Buddha nature will naturally appear. This is not something that you train or you practice. If someone said that they see the Buddha nature because they practice, that's wrong. Because the Buddha nature intrinsically exists, it's intrinsically there. You just remove all the obstructions and obstacles. So when you remove all the obstructions and obstacles, the Buddha nature will appear naturally. It's not something that you train or that you practice, because it's there all along. Everyone has Buddha nature, and spiritual cultivation is to eliminate all the obstacles and obstructions of or to the Buddha nature. So when you see the Buddha nature, there would be a true vision. There are three things. First, that you do the real practice, and by holding the qi and relying on the central channel, one attracts the yidam of the altar. Therefore, the wisdom of the vision ground can appear, and in the midst of all existences, one experiences a vision. This kind of true vision is called the vision of the present nature. This is quite profound. Actually, that tantric practitioner would know of the qi channel and light drops. You empower your qi, you empower your central channel and the light drops to be pure. This is spiritual cultivation. So by the power of the blessings, qi can enter into the central channel, and the central channel would become luminous, and then it would be empowered to open the 5 chakras. And then in the heart, there would be a finger-long light. And that light is the Buddha nature. And that also is your yidam or personal deity. And that is also yourself. So this is the appearing of your nature, seeing. So the qi inside the central channel open the heart chakra, and then you see the life energy, life qi, which is a finger-long blue light. That's your nature. So if you don't practice, your channel is not open, the chakra is not open. If your central channel is not open, you don't comprehend that the central channel can generate luminosity or radiance. So that's why in the spiritual cultivation you start from bliss and then into clear light and then into empty nature. And the blue light represents the empty nature. So you do it by real practice. So by the qi, you hold the qi, you enter into the central channel, you invoke the yidam of the altar, and the wisdom appears, and then of all existences one experiences the vision. This kind of true vision is called the vision of the present nature. That's all I could explain about this. So the appearance of your Buddha nature is not something that you train, but you eliminate all your obstacles and the Buddha nature appears by itself. Buddha nature is not something that you show, that you practice or you train on, but that's not the case because it's there all along. It's just that you remove all the obstacles, the obstructions. obstructions of knowledge and others. Only then it would appear. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.